Namaste programs, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator and the Rove, and a new bush trip today. We're now into the Eastern European update. We're doing the upper northeast Adriatic countries bush trip. Leg 1 is Maribor to Ljubljana. I'll read out the bush trip description while we're flying. Let's go. Well, this is interesting program. We're starting from a completely turned off plane, which is cool, but I've been years since I've done this, so let's try and figure it out. Alright, well, we've got the checklist, so we definitely didn't have that before. How do I get back? Before starting engine. I want to go back to the main page, please. There we go. So these are all ticked off. Normal takeoff. Transponder road, power levers are max. How do I turn the plane on? Clearly not already turned on. So transponder as required. Don't know where that is. Power levers to max. I haven't turned the plane on yet. Everything's ticked though. Okay, starting engine. Can I just go full power and have it work? No, of course not. So this is extremely weird in the sense that the checklists have already been completed and yet the plane's not on. So we're gonna have to start again. I'll go through all of this and get back to you. All right, programs, I think we've done it, maybe? Let's see, are we going to take off? No, we're not. Engine's not on. Why? Thought I turned the engine on in all of that. Have we done it? Have we done it, maybe? Take the parking brake off. Get a bit of power going. We'll see. We'll see. I did try to follow the checklist, but obviously I missed the fuel pumps. Had to turn them on. Let's just get out of here and see what happens. Now, this is a whole new world of bush trips here, let me tell you. The instructions are like 15 pages long and have got their own photo each time. It's incredibly interesting. And it's 6 AM local time, which I think is probably live weather? Live time? Not sure, not sure. I did say it was live weather. Anyway, let's go. Let's see if we can take off. Once we take off, I'll read out what it says. I'll try. We've only got a minute to do it. Minute 35. Kind of cool that you have to start the plane up. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Let's go. Gears up. Flaps up already. 329 for 135. Maribor. After lifting off from the Maribor Edvard Rusjan Airport, set a course to the north-northwest towards the city of Maribor. Fly along the corridor formed between the periphery of the Foroge Mountains in the west and the Drava River to the east. A railway line and a number of highways lead to the city centre of Maribor. Located in a northeastern Slovenia less than 10 miles south of the Austrian border, Maribor lies on the banks of the Drava River, a tributary to the Danube. Maribor is Slovenia's second most populous city with roughly 100,000 inhabitants. Its location was first used as a settlement during the Copper Age, roughly 7,000 years ago. Like much of Slovenia, Maribor has seen great change over the centuries due to human migration from throughout Europe. The area was used by the Romans, then the Slavs. The modern city traces its lineage back to a castle that was first noted in 1164 to protect the area from Hungarian advance. A town grew out around the fortress, and that eventually flourished into the city of today. Regionally, Maribor is particularly noteworthy as the largest city in the Slovenian historic region called Lower Styria. Maribor and most of Lower Styria is renowned for its vineyards and winemaking. Maribor is home to the Zametova vine, a specific vine of the Zametova wine grape variety that viticulturalists have identified as the oldest producing individual grapevine on the planet. Planted over 400 years ago, it grows on the grounds of Maribor's old vine house on the bank of the Drava River. I've asked for more information and we're giving us more information. You gotta love it. Let's trim back a bit. We should have done our 135 by now. We have almost. This must be Maribor, looking very nice. There we go. We want 276 for 457, the Drava River. Fly past the myriad sights of Maribor and track the Drava River westward. The Drava is the fifth longest tributary to the Danube at 440 miles in length. It originates in Italy's South Tyrol, then flows through southern Austria, northeastern Slovenia, northern Croatia, and forms much of the border between Croatia and Hungary. Follow the Drava on its course along the northern periphery of the Pohjoy Mountains. The range is part of the southern limestone Alps and is characterized by relatively low, heavily forested rolling peaks. The Drava River cuts a deep path through this section of the mountains, and the terrain on either side of the river is typical of the natural face of much of the country. Slovenia's geography, both its physical nature and its location in Europe, set the stage for it being one of the key crossroads of European cultures. Its human geography has been influenced through the centuries by Romans, Germans, Slavs, French and Hungarians, among others. Today, Slovenia, which has a population of just over 2 million, borders 4 nations: Italy on its northwest, Austria on its north, Hungary on its northeast, and Croatia on its south. After the dissolution of Yugoslavia in 1991 and the brief 10-day war, Slovenian War of Independence, Slovenia aligned itself with the nations of Western Europe and subsequently grew to be an economically prosperous and resilient nation, attracting people from throughout the other Balkan countries. Continue following the Drava River, which flows roughly parallel and a few miles south of the country's border with Austria. And now we're going to cue the speed up and do the initial description of the whole bush trip during the speed ups. We'll see how that goes. See you there. Upper Northeast Adriatic countries, from Maribor to Sarajevo. The Adriatic Sea is one of the most storied and historically significant bodies of water in the world. A northern arm of the Mediterranean, the northwest-southeast trending Adriatic is bound on its west by the Italian peninsula and on its north by mainland Europe, and on its east by the Balkan Peninsula. Alright, here we are, 265 for 359, or reset our clock. Dravograd. Dravograd is a small city of approximately 3,000 people that lies less than 2 miles south of Slovenia's border with Austria. The town is located on the confluence of the Drava, the Mislinja, and the Metsa rivers. With Etruscan, Greeks and Romans having plied and settled on and to the interior of its shores, the Adriatic was an important part of the cradle of Western civilization. Subsequent centuries witnessed regional conquest by the Byzantines and Ottomans, among others. One of the most notable historic periods of the region was the rule of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which spanned from 1867 to the end of World War I in 1918. The empire comprised land on and inland of the northeast Adriatic, including the modern Balkan countries of Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia-Herzegovina. These 3 nations emerged as independent states in the 1990s, along with Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia with the dissolution of Yugoslavia. While bonded by history and northeastern Adriatic coastline, each of these 3 countries offers stunning vistas of unique natural landscapes and human development evocative of history both recent and centuries old. Welcome to Dravograd. Now we want to 244 for 224. Poljana. At Dravograd, turn onto a west-southwest course and follow the general course of the Metsa River, staying to its north, like the Vikings. The Metsa strikes through the eastern Karavankas Mountains, a long, narrow chain of the Alps that straddles the Austro-Slovenia border. Higher and more rugged than the Pohjoy Mountains, the Karavankas are a component of the southern limestone Alps and are approximately 75 miles in length. Begin ascending to 7,000 feet above sea level along this stretch. Alright, will do. Past the small city of Ravni na Karoskem, which lies on the Metsa River, and then gain a visual on the town of Poljana, which also lies on the Metsa. Poljana is located at the intersection of Route 112 and 425. Yes, Poljana. Very nice. Very nice. 230 for 136. On our way to Kordezeva Glava. Turn onto a southwest course at Poljana and gain a visual on the high rocky Peka Massif in the distance. The large mountain, which trends northwest-southeast, straddles the Austro-Slovenia border and is the highest mountain in the eastern Karavankas. Locate Peka's highest summit, Kordezeva Glava, which lies directly on the border. The mountain peak stands 6,975 feet above the sea level. Fly directly over Kordezeva Glava for outstanding views of this part of the Karavankas. This bush trip weaves together the best of these three countries. Beginning at Maribor near the Pohorje Mountains of northeastern Slovenia, the route traverses northern Slovenia and then meets the northeastern Adriatic coastline. The journey then winds southward along the Croatian coastline and the Croatian archipelago, the most numerous group of islands in the Adriatic and second most numerous in all of the Mediterranean. The flight then heads inland to explore Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is dominated by the Dinaric Alps. Stunning, absolutely stunning. 224 for 419 now. Scooter. Continue on a southwest heading once over Korda and increase altitude. Even more so. Gain a visual directly ahead of a 3-mile long ridge of peaks, the Olseva. Fly just to the south of its highest point, Govka, 6,329 feet above sea level. Once past Govka, maintain course and gain a visual on a high ridge of the Kamnik Savinya Alps in the distance. Sight the highest point, Skuta. Skuta stands 8,307 feet above sea level and is the third highest mountain in the Kamnik Savinya Alps. Just below the summit on the mountain's northeastern quadrant lies Skuta Glacier. Skuta Glacier is the southeasternmost glacier in the Alps and is one of the lowest elevation glaciers in Europe at 6,600 feet above sea level. Many geographers consider Skuta Glacier to be Slovenia's only glacier. Triglav Glacier to the northwest of Skuta in Slovenia's Julian Alps has virtually disappeared in recent decades. The remnants of Triglav Glacier lie on the upper slopes of Triglav, Slovenia's highest mountain at 9,395 feet above sea level. Fly over the Skuta Glacier and then the summit of Skuta, which brings some of the most magnificent vistas in all of Slovenia. This bush trip visits a tremendous span of terrain, from large cities with a variety of architecture to sweeps of coastline to alpine regions of forests, rivers and valleys. It offers boundless vistas of natural beauty and historical intrigue to enjoy from the cockpit. There it is, even more spectacular. 203 for 316. The last segment of this new bush trip design. Oh, it's kind of interesting. Ljubljana Jose Puknik International Airport. Once past the summit of Skuta, just heading slightly to the south and parallel a long ridge of peaks that strikes to the southwest. Gain a visual on Ljubljana Jose Puknik Airport, Pusnik maybe, in the distance and begin descending. Located on the southern foothills of the Kamnik Savinya Alps, LJ is the busiest airport in Slovenia. Land to bring this leg of the journey to a close. And here's something new. Flight tips. Weather is freely selectable. Live weather is preset. I like that. Make sure there is always enough fuel. You will need to refuel at airports, okay? Put the aircraft away cold and dark after each landing to finish the leg. Use ATC if you wish. Cold and dark. Well, we'll see how that goes. 942 kilometers, 3 hours 10 in total with 5 legs. Alright, programs, here we are. Here's the airport, beautiful valley. I guess that's Ljubljana over on the left there, beyond the hills. We've got farms, we've got an airport. Everything a pilot could want. Let's get her landed and see what the go is with trying to register bush trips now that they've changed everything up. Happy to see it, I am. I'm very happy to see it. However, there's already enough bugs in bush trips. Adding all of this stuff is going to make it real interesting, I think. Let's hope it just works. I assume it's not going to let me just register it by landing at the runway like it used to. And we're going to have to go park it somewhere. We'll see. We will see. Gotta land it first. Just a tiny little international runway. Just a wee little itty bitty mountain runway. We want to go a little bit faster. We like our 90s. We like our 90s. That's a bit too fast. Gotta figure out where there's a taxiway. There isn't one for miles. Anyway, I'm going to try stopping on the runway in case that still works, and it was just sort of, they were being a little bit cute about telling you had to go park it somewhere. Otherwise, we shall see. Alright, let's go. Let's land this. Gonna make that taxiway. I could have almost. Alright, let's break her up. Break her up. Well, you know, use the brakes to stop the aeroplane. Let's see what happens. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, it's not going to register until we park it somewhere. So I'm going to figure that out. But for you guys, you don't need to sit through that. So I am going to do that. I hope you enjoyed that. That was the leg one of the, whatever it is, Slovenia, Northern Adriatic States bush trip, whatever it was called. Thank you for watching. Thank you for existing. Au revoir. Goodbye.